Welcome to 5 for 5, the podcast where you get to hear the stories of the players, coaches, and people who made history at Arkansas State with 5 head coaches in 5 years. We won championships, set records, and took the Red Wolves to a new level. We proved there's more than one way to win. The only thing that stayed the same was Adidas, Ron Carroll, and the 10 stubborn men who refused to leave. Join us as we look behind the scenes and explore this football journey. Now, here's your host, Kenny Rainmaker Rain.
All right, I am your host, Kenny Rainmaker Rains, and I have 2 legends in the studio with me in Booker the Goat Maze and CJ Don't Call Me Girley. How you guys doing?
I remember that now. Man. We're good, though. We're good. We're glad to be here.
Yeah. Man.
The walk-ons.
The walk. So that's a great point. Y'all are the first walk-ons on the podcast.
We were talking about that on our way up
Yeah,
here. We
man.
were like, from all the other guests, everybody's been on scholarship, so this will be interesting from walk-ons perspective from our whole journey.
Yeah. I mean, that's me, Alan, and Grieve talked at length about how much respect we had for walk-ons, and specifically you 2 guys. Wow. And, I mean, because, there were times, certainly, like, if we weren't on scholarship, I think we all probably would have quit. And you guys are there paying your own way.
Literally.
To be there. Literally. Paying to be there, to get punished, to go through some pretty extreme circumstances. Yes. So let's step back, though. Okay. Let's go back to Pine Bluff. So y'all are also from the same school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rough in the Bluff, Pine Bluff, Dalloway, man. What was that like growing up?
Well, I mean, I've been knowing CJ since we were knee-high to a grasshopper, like kindergarten. So,
Has Girley's arms just always been this long? You might have the longest arms for like a body size thing I've ever seen.
My frame is literally weird.
Yeah.
He definitely hit a growth spurt where everything just kind of spread out.
Yeah.
Gee,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, so, man, I grew up in Hot Springs, so I'm an Arkansas boy as well. Not too far from Pine Bluff. But for those of you all listeners that don't know about Pine Bluff, I mean, there's a reason why it's rough in the Bluff, why that's even a saying. We played against Pine Bluff High School my senior year of high school, and they broke into the cheerleaders' bus and stole everything.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and we're playing there on Thursday night on TV. It was like the big, they did that deal to where they'd play Thursday night games and put it out on state TV. And we ended up winning. We beat Claude Johnson, really epic game. Wow. Yeah, man, old Claude Johnson. So, I mean, really though, what was childhood like? Were your parents there? Like, what did that look like?
So growing up for me, both parents in the household, we went to Dalloway. So the thing about Pine Bluff, you have 3 school districts. You have Pine Bluff High, Watson Chapel, Dalloway. Yep. So we went to Dalloway, and, for the most part, I was very blessed to just have both parents in the household. But the thing about what I would say Pine Bluff is that, it's still low income. You still deal with poverty. You still deal with lack of resources. And to be honest, all of that played a part in our transition even into college because, so you talk about my frame. I don't even know if a lot of people know this, but in high school, pretty much my whole entire football career, I played middle linebacker.
Yeah.
So I'm 170, 175.
Yeah, you guys were skinny when you got to ASU.
My God.
Playing middle linebacker. Yeah. And so, just the lack of resources, but at the same time, it's home, is where I have a lot of pride, a lot of respect for. And, I wouldn't trade anything.
Yeah. Look, what about you, man? You were like $135 when you showed up, maybe $140 at ASU?
I will never forget when I got on the scale for the first time for John Arce.
What'd you weigh for Big Arce, man?
142 pounds.
Oh, man, dude.
And he looked at me like, yep, red shirt. Definitely a red shirt.
I'm surprised when Demario Davis hit you that you didn't break in half on that first hit.
Oh, man. That was my welcome to college football. I'll never forget it. I was really close with the defensive GAs, naturally.
Yeah.
Coach Cam, Trey Scott. They're my guys.
Trey Scott. Oh, Rick Ross, man. He is
Ross.
defensive
Ricky
line
Rose.
coach
Yeah.
at University of Georgia right now. Is that not crazy,
No,
dude?
he's doing great.
Yeah,
he's killing it.
That was my guy, man. It's weird because I wasn't a defensive guy, but those guys, they kind of kept me in it. But they set me up for that DeMario play, man.
Yeah, they did.
I could not believe it. When I first got there, I came as a DB, but slow. They transitioned me over to receiver.
Right.
And immediately went to scout team, and I was a quick guy, so I was always that other team's special player, whether it was Ty Hilson or whoever it may be. I was the guy, and I was a scout team running back. Can you imagine that? 140 pounds, scout team running back. And coach, he said, "Hey, wherever you see this number, this is what you do. You get in there and you run it." And it was like a fullback, halfback dive right up the A gap, and I just do what I do. I'm a coach's player, so he said, "This is what we running," and I ran it, and it's like the Red Sea opened up, and it was just me and DeMario Davis, and man, he hit me so hard that I instantly got up, mad. All I hear is Trey Scott say, "Hey, run it again, while he's hot, run it again." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Hey, they trying to set me up." Yeah. So we ran it back.
Yeah.
Same thing happened. Opened up. And I took one step and cut all the way to the sideline. Took it like 30, 40 yards upfield. I was like, there's no way I was going to go right back into DeMario Davis. For sure.
Oh, man, everybody's got that welcome to college football moment. So Girley, bro. CJ, what was yours?
My welcome to college football. Okay, so we redshirt, our freshman year. And to be honest, I don't really get that much exposure.
Yeah.
So then Malzahn comes in, and, we're going through spring ball. It's a spring game. So my welcome to college football moment is a lot different than what you may ask other people. There is like getting hit or something. Mine was actually delivering the hit.
Oh, boy, I remember it.
Probably the most – I've had a lot of epic hits in my career from high school to college, but hitting Michael Dyer and literally sending a message, that was probably my welcome. That was my welcome to football, and that it just gave me confidence of what I already knew, that I can play on this level and that I can compete, with top people, whether it's from Auburn, scholarship players, it didn't matter. And so I would say that was my welcome to college football moment.
So I want to give you the offensive perspective of that play, because that was one we talked about for like a good 5 minutes on the Grieve and Allen podcast. So, we're playing, and at this point, bro, you'd had a good spring, right? But you're behind Don Jones, right? Like, you've got some studs over there. Nickel, I think Junkie Holmes is still there. Tayshawn Holmes.
They had
right?
moved Kyle over there.
Yep, Kyle's over at Nickel now.
So it was steep. It was steep.
Yeah.
I was running third string, but it was like backup. And to be honest, the only way I even got on the field, Don Jones, he was supposed to be in.
Yeah.
But Don likes to take breaks.
Yep.
So he comes to the sideline, and I literally get thrown in there. And that's basically how I even got on the field in that moment.
So in that moment, though, we're running a play. Michael Dyer, believe it's a power play, and you came up and you walloped Michael Dyer. And he comes off the field, and he just goes, "Damn, that guy knocked the shit out of me." And that was when we all were just like, whoa, dude, Girley's legit. Like, he's going to be the real deal, dude.
Kenny, the funny part about that is that, we were split on opposite sidelines. So it was like defense on the one side, the offense on the other side. CJ absolutely stroked Michael Dyer. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We in here. And like the whole sideline is like, "Hey, man, whose side you on?" Like, I'm like, man, that's home. That's the home team right there. That's the win for the walk-ons. I don't care what you say.
Oh, dude, we got hyped for you, bro. I'm on offense. Like, I'm not supposed to be. But it's like, there's something about when you see a walk-on have success that just really energizes you. And I want to ask you guys, do you remember the moment when you got put on scholarship?
Yeah.
So what's that look like?
I had a couple moments. So I didn't get put on scholarship, but it just gave me a lot of confidence. Malzahn pulled me to the side after that spring. And you could look at the different reasons why I didn't get one, but he told me that, I deserved one that year. And that meant a lot to me because that was literally coming off my redshirt freshman year.
Yeah.
Which was, kind of unheard of.
Yeah.
But we fast forward to Harson's year, and, I don't know, it was seeing all your hard work come together and just our hard work prior to coming to A-State.
Yeah.
Because just a little backstory, we always knew we wanted to walk on. And I swear you would have thought we were preparing for the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
We were in Pine Bluff. We knew that school started, second, third week of August. And so every day during the summer from June to July, we were working out and doing one-on-ones, running sprints like every day. I want to say at the peak of the day, at the heat of the day, every single day. And so, our hard work, just even from there, getting to the point of being stood up and then finally earning a scholarship, it was surreal, and it really meant a lot.
That's awesome, dude. So it's Harson's year.
So it was Harson's year. Book has a different story, so I'm going to try to speed it up so mine doesn't take too long.
Yeah, you're good.
So we were dealing with the coaches, right? Coaches coming in, leaving. So I earned it Harson's year, but then Harson leaves at the end of the year. Yeah. And so Anderson comes in.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know what happened, but I get put off scholarship.
I remember that, yeah.
I get put off scholarship, and that was difficult for me because, you finally get on, and now you're back having to figure out payments and different things. Mm-hmm. And so I go through the summer. And so this particular summer is when it started to be kind of like mandatory. Mm-hmm. I really didn't have the money, and it was kind of like conversation with my parents, like, you don't get something by the time school starts, we're going to have to, think about some things. So not only did I lose my scholarship, I also lost, I think I was like between second and first string with Frankie Jackson.
Yeah.
And so, I completely fell to the bottom, of the depth chart. And so that entire summer, I remember it vividly. I was working my ass off. Even after workouts, I would tell Book, I'm going to the hill by the track, and I would work out every day. And so not only did I earn my starting position back, but like getting that scholarship back, it was kind of like it was just a chip on my shoulder of like something was taken from me that I originally earned, and I needed to get it back.
Because you definitely earned it. I remember because you weren't the only guy that got scholarship pulled in, and people don't realize that you are on a 1-year scholarship that's also coach specific.
Yep.
People complain about players and the portal and transfer, and it's like, well, do those coaches transfer with no problem, no ramifications whatsoever, and you can lose your scholarship like that.
Like that.
And
with no explanation.
Don't have to give one. And you did that. I think Brock Barnhill also was another guy. Man, that was really – we didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah. That was really screwed up, from my perspective at least. But okay, so we'll pick back up where we were at, and we just got done talking about how you had to earn your scholarship back your junior year.
Yep.
So the other first, you all are the first ones that are younger than me. Wow. So you're going to give us the first view of that 2015 season, which we'll get to in a little bit. Okay. But, Book, I want to turn now to you and that when you got that scholarship offer, man, what was that like?
Man, it was a lot of emotion. Like CJ, earned that scholarship under Harson, and man, Coach Tuck, man, that was my guy.
Yeah.
Coach Tuck was really one of the first position coaches that I just really felt confident in, and I felt like really believed in me as a player.
Right.
Like I could get it done. So shout out to Coach Tuck. But man, Kenny, it started way, way before, man. Just coming from like we said, Pine Bluff, and being a walk-on, and man, there was such a fear for me of being, that guy that didn't make it, that made me wear a chip on my shoulder so much. And we had got to a point to where, that first year goes by, and I'm knowing like, okay, it's year one, you just got to grind it out.
Especially now, did you all come to fall camp That first year, y'all were after fall camp, like the real deal walk-ons.
Real deal walk-ons.
Man, because that's a whole nother step.
August 22nd, 1 o'clock. Coach Gunn said, "Be there. This is your shot."
Yeah.
And when I say I could not even think straight in class that day,
I can't imagine how
all
nervous.
I could think about was, if you get in front of me, I am gonna put you on skates. I'm finna make you look bad. And I remember telling CJ this before the trial. I said, "CJ, please don't get over there in front of me, because I'm not losing. Not one one-on-one. I don't care who get in front of me.
Yeah.
They are baked, because I can't go home."
Yeah.
And it was awesome to be as prepared. Like CJ said, we were going hard every day.
Yeah.
And so when we got there and we actually got into it, and we're winning, we're coachable, we're winning our reps. There were a couple other guys. I'm like, okay, they can play, but I felt really confident coming out of that first tryout. First of 3 trials, by the way.
Yeah.
That was big. And so getting that scholarship, we got to a point before that. My dad was like, "Look, if you don't get it after this rotation, much like CJ's parents, we're gonna have to figure something out." And so, man, that's a lot of that fuel to the fire that got us to that point, man. Just knowing that you don't want to be the one that went and came back, and so that's pretty much what got us to that point.
Yeah, I mean, you two guys, and seriously, I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here. I mean, I couldn't have picked 2 better teammates, to grind with, to play with. I mean, you guys, man, you worked your butts off. I don't ever remember either one of you two complaining about anything. I know you did. I know you did. I just don't remember.
Didn't have really too much room to
yeah. But I mean, you were grateful. Like, man, you're starting out in the visitors' locker room. Don't even make the actual locker room. And so, man, for the players, for any players that are listening that are at ASU now, you don't understand what it was like back in 2011 when these guys show up in the visitors' locker room.
Oh man.
And also, you got to even take all your stuff out every time we play on Saturday for the other team.
Well, we talked. So the first year that we won with Freeze, we weren't even on the field. So we would practice during the week, and then we would be in the stands on game day.
Oh, yeah.
So when we won the Sun Belt Championship, when we blew Middle 10 out or whatever, we were in the student section.
But best believe I jumped the barrier because I was like, ain't no way I could work too hard not to celebrate, baby.
So when we talk about our journey, it's very special for us because like it took us a minute to feel a part. Because not only were we walk-ons, not only did we redshirt, we were in the visitor locker room. That first year we were in the stands. So there's still, separation. And so I think for me, even getting the scholarship the first time, it was more so about being accepted by my teammates at that point. Yeah. Because of just that embrace moment where you're kind of, okay, I'm finally feel like I'm part of a team. Yeah. I feel like these guys got my back. And so, for a lot of it, I feel that way, too.
And that's a big thing, too, in that locker room. And even from my perspective, you're trying to establish that you belong. I mean, you are just another alpha dog amongst alpha dogs. And everybody there is trying to prove that they're worth being there, that they're worth having a spot. And, can't imagine from y'all's perspective what that thought process is like. So that's just really interesting to hear about that. But also, you guys are one of the first classes in many, many years. You went through 5 winning seasons in a row. Yes. How often does that ever happen in college football, especially at the Sun Belt level?
Hardly ever.
Yeah.
Right timing.
Yeah, y'all time perfect. See, I got that little bit of taste with that 4-8 season in 2010 to appreciate the 2011, 12, 13, and 14.
Man, it was beautiful. Like I said, just seeing the guys from DeMario Davis, Ryan Applin, kind of what that first kind of what I would say winning season meant to them, and it kind of established something. And then we're coming in and we immediately win. We don't know what losing looks like, so we don't want to lose.
Yep.
I'm gonna stop you there. We know what losers look like because in high school.
Well, in high school, yeah.
Dalloway.
I mean, like we weren't terrible, but we didn't do what we thought we would do. So just getting a taste, like you said, of a winning culture, not really knowing that we're coming off of seasons of not winning.
Yeah.
It had someone asked me, I wouldn't, if someone told me like that team had just come off of a losing season, I would have bet every dollar I had that not this team.
That 2010 team was stacked with talent. Talent was not the problem. It was just we for whatever reason just could not finish games. Yeah. And that's a tough thing to do, man. When you get in those moments, are you going to, and things are close, are you going to start blaming everybody else, or are you going to be the guy that rallies the team to say, "Nah, man, we got this. This is exactly where we want to be." And we turned into that in 2011.
Yeah.
So I had an interview with 103.7 The Buzz today and got to tell some Malzahn stories. And, Book, man, when you came, I was so excited to tell your Malzahn story.
Man.
So, once again, we have these meetings where, Coach Malzahn's got this whiteboard, this like 8-foot whiteboard, and he's completely filled with plays. You could not fill this whiteboard up more than what Coach Malzahn does. And then it's the back, too. And he's going through every play, every scenario, everything from 45-yard line right hash, we're on a Wildcat RP, all the way down to left hash on the 2-yard line, or what's the trick play we're going to run on 2-point conversion down to the third trick play just in case we go into that many overtimes. I mean, it's nuts. Okay, the things that you're expected to memorize. And Book, somebody got hurt. I'm not sure who got hurt, but you got moved from scout team onto travel team, and specifically you got thrown into one of those meetings. And it's your first meeting, right?
I'm going to tell you, I think about this moment very, very often, guys. For whatever reason, we weren't needed on scout team. They said, go to your offensive team meeting. So,
yeah.
It's guys like me, William Boyd, Taylor Mason, my guys, shout out to them.
Yeah.
And as a young guy, in that situation, you get in the room, you go to the back, you shut up, and you just watch and look and learn and soak up knowledge. That's what you do if you're smart. And I thought I was being smart by just listening, staying out the way, because you in here with starters, guys who are getting reps, guys who have studied this playbook. I have not looked at a playbook. You
hadn't even seen it, really.
I don't know. Look, all I know is that we run a play every 9 seconds. That's all I know. But for whatever reason, and I will never forget this sequence, Coach Malzahn, he's at the front of the room. He's asking guys, specific things like, Josh Jobo, what do we have on such and such play? And he'll hit him with we got a,
yeah, we got
yeah. Look, man, I don't get it. Real calm about it. We gotta make sure he knows.
But he also wouldn't say Jarbo. He'd say 3. What do you have on this play? He'd say like Wildcat RP. And Jarbo is literally just wiggling his arm through the air. And to Malzahn, to him, that was an okay answer because it meant Jarbo knew the route. But we were all just like, what does that mean? Anyway, so now, look.
So for whatever reason, we're going through, this is game-specific stuff. I don't know the game plan. I'm not in the scenarios at all. So he comes up, and Malzahn, he turns at the board. He turns back around. He looks at us. He says, all right, guys, we got 3rd and 8, plus 45-yard line, left hash. What do we got? And he scans the room. And I don't even know what made me make eye contact with him, but I'm engaged. And he stops and he goes, Booker Mays, what do we have? And guys, I didn't know that.
He called you by his number, though. He didn't call you by your name.
No, he said Booker Mays.
He did?
distinctly remember this.
Wow, dude. You were one of the guys. You're like one of the 10 that he knew the name. And that's a big deal, dude. That's an honor.
That was probably the first time he said my name. I don't know how that happened. And I had Taylor Mason to the left of me, William Boyd to the right of me. I looked at Taylor. I knew he didn't know. I looked at Boyd. Boyd looked at me like, ugh. So the only play that I could remember learning in that offense was Bama home run. And I said, we got Bama home run. And his face was so disgusted with me.
You got to say what he said.
Say what he said, dude.
He goes, and that's why he doesn't fucking play right now. And I was like, I was livid on the inside, but I'm a young guy, so I know and I'm a walk-on, so I can't express myself how I really want to. And on the far wall is our OC at the time, Coach Lashley.
Get his butt out of here.
And my wide receiver coach, Coach Woods. And I look over at Coach Woods like, you better step for me because you ain't taught me nothing. And by that time, Malzahn storms out the room. Like, I don't like, the meeting's over. He storms out. And Coach Lashley is like, big-eyed, like, oh my God, did that really just happen? And he says, guys, I don't know what's going on here. Booker, and I'm like, no, man. Y'all had y'all chance to say something when he was in the room. And I looked at Coach Woods, and he dropped his head. And I'm like, man, my position coach left me out to dry like that. And, man, I mean, even some of the guys in the room were shocked. Like,
I was shocked. I'm trying. You know that moment when, like, something hilarious happens, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't laugh. That was consistently Coach Malzahn's season. Like, there's this stuff that's so funny, and you're just like, so, like, you're putting your hand over your mouth. Yeah. That was totally that moment. I felt so bad for you, but I was trying so hard not to laugh.
Yeah, man. A lot of people, that was a lot of people's reaction. A lot of guys was like, man, that is funny as hell, but that's, you know. But, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of zoned out on Coach Malzahn after that. Like,
I bet you did.
And, you know, I really didn't have too much more to say to Coach Malzahn. I mean, other than, you know, a head nod or something. But, yeah, I was done. I don't know what was going on that particular day with him, but, yeah, he took it out on me for sure.
Yeah, that was, you know, I will say, but I don't remember him dropping the F-bomb because I honestly, well, no, I seriously don't remember Coach Malzahn cussing, but I remember him chewing me out, and I wish he would have just cussed me out. Because other coaches certainly like cussing. Okay, so in college football, by the way, what you see presented to the media is significantly different than what the players see. And I mean, I really don't remember Malzahn cussing. Freeze either.
Let me clarify.
Well, definitely not.
I'm about 90% sure he said freaking.
I think he said freaking, dude. Seriously.
But my mind. And so now
the impact made you think it was the F-bomb.
Yeah, it was worse than the F-bomb. What you felt, no doubt.
I felt like he came for my neck, y'all, and I was pissed. So,
hey, I got one. I hadn't told this yet. So, that Malzahn year for me. So, coming off Freeze's year, you know, I got to play in every game, but it's because we blew everybody out. Yeah, you know, so I got to play, but I'm not starting on special teams. But Malzahn's year comes. I have a really good spring, in really good shape, man. I remember I ran like a 4.7 flat, and Drinkwitz's timing it like he couldn't believe it. Oh wow! Ran a 4.7 flat, 4.32 pro agility. I'm like 245, 7% body fat. I mean, that was by far the best physical shape I'm in. But mentally, I'm weak. Okay, and going into that fall, I remember I got put all the way back on scout team. Oh, wow. And so I went from like starting in the spring to scout team, and I was ticked, dude. I mean, I was head hunting. They only had me there for like 3 days because I was killing people. So then they moved me back, and I ended up getting a starting position going into Oregon, that opener. Oh, yeah. Okay, on ESPN, only game in the country. My first game starting is at Oregon. And, bro, I'm freaking out. Okay, I am thoroughly in my own head, and we're in pregame, and I'm running these corner routes like while we're, you know, when we're running plays in pregame, and Applin drills me in the chest, 2 beautiful passes, and I drop both of them. And I got good hands. I mean, y'all could attest to that. Yeah. Normally really solid, at least catching the ball, man. And Malzahn just goes, 87's crapping his pants. Get him out of here.
Oh wow!
And I'm just like. And at that point, it just like sealed the deal on me that day. And I'm going against Deion Jordan, who's the number 3 overall draft pick. The number 3 overall pick, okay? That's dope, right? And he takes me to church. It's a rough day. It's a rough day for ASU that day, to be fair. Yeah, okay? It was. But, yeah, man, that was rough.
I got a story for you on that Oregon, man.
Yeah.
that whole fall camp, I mean, I'm having a great fall camp. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. My tests for like the offensive playbooks are perfect. All this good stuff, man. And I'm on special teams. You know, I'm getting reps in. At least on the two guy on certain special teams. And so now it's starting to they're starting to cut down to that travel team. And for most of the week, I'm on there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the 2 on punt return, or I'm the 2 on kickoff return. I'm good. I'm finna go play against Oregon on national television. And so you know, we had the board that shows the depth chart and stuff, and so that Friday. That Thursday before we leave, you know, they post the final travel list, depth chart or whatever.
Yeah.
And me being as anxious as I was, I mean, I run into the locker room to look at it, and I see Mays on there. And I'm like, heck yeah, like, it's all, like, I've been working for this, dog. But I get to my locker, and there's no travel gear.
Oh, man.
So I instantly like, hold on, maybe they, you know, ain't got it all together. So I went to, I guess at the time, was it Ryan at the time? The equipment guy?
Man.
No. If this is Miles and it was
Brian?
Brian.
It was Brian. Yeah. It was hard to get socks from Brian. But you know,
bro, you had to go to Jay Avery, dude. You had to go to Jay for everything. Shout out to Jay. Jay has gotten a shout out on almost every podcast, dude, because you hooked us up.
And so I go to Brian, and he was like, I don't have a bag for you because you're not on the travel squad.
Oh.
And I was like, nah, bro, what you mean? Like, he goes down, he was like, Mays? He was like, oh no, that's Ty Mays. Ty Mays. And I was sick to my stomach.
Oh, man.
And so I instantly go up to Coach Wood's office. I'm like, Coach Woods, what's good? Like, I ain't trusting. He was like, he gave me that look like, I want to take you, but I can't. And that broke me. Long story short, I was sick. I had to watch that thing from the house. Yeah. But what broke my heart even more was that Ty Mays missed the bus that morning.
Yeah.
And I saw him in the calf.
Chill out, bro.
And I was like,
he didn't even travel? Whoa.
Kenny,
dude, I didn't even know that.
Kenny, I saw him in the calf like, hey, bro, what you do? He was like, I missed the bus.
Bro,
I
can't imagine missing the bus to a game. That's crazy.
It was crazy.
So,
like, wow.
Another funny Oregon story about Markel. Okay, so we're getting absolutely drilled at the end of this first half. Worst I've ever been beat in a football game in my life. I think, I can't remember exactly, roughly 42-7. Okay, the only reason we scored was they cut Julian Jones loose, and he scores like an 80-yard bomb on a fluke play.
Yep.
And we go into halftime, and it's been, seriously, I think almost 3 hours, just the first half. Extremely long game. Okay, and it's already like Central Time, at least 11 o'clock at night, maybe midnight.
Yep.
And Markel starts taking his pads off at halftime. Okay, he starts getting completely undressed. Shoulder pads, starts dropping pants, and I think it was Sir Jesus one telling his story, and he's like, "Bro, what are you doing? Like, it's halftime." He's like, "What? It's halftime? Like, we got to go back out there?"
Oh my God. That was a long game.
Markel's a clown, man. He is such a good dude, such a funny guy. So that's one thing I'd like to talk about with you guys, because y'all partnered up with Carlos and anybody else on that locker project.
I think it was us, Carlos, and Jay. I think Jay Avery.
And Jay Avery, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome. What a great honor to Markel. And man, just want to give you guys props for that, and that's really great.
Markel meant a lot to us. I know he meant a great deal to me, because when I finally got moved into the real locker room or whatever, I was over there in that corner. And so in that corner,
you're like 101, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was me, Markel, Darius Dunaway,
D-Wade.
D-Wade. And it was a couple of Amos. Amos was over there.
Oh my gosh.
So it was us, and we were in that court in that little corner, like right before you go out. And man, just the laughs between Markel and his jokes D-Way doing all the Greek hops and everything, man. It was that made my transition in the actual locker room like so much better. And then just being with Markel when we went to bowl games, just, you know, his spirit, all of that. And so, you know, when that tragedy happened, it was very impactful. I think for me though, right before, I don't know if it was right before the bowl game or right before school was out, something. Markel, I was into Jordans, these shoes. So Markel, he was like, "Hey, CJ, you know, I got these shoes. I'll sell them to you for about $80 if you want them."
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So they were like these Bug Bunny Jordan 8s. And man, Kenny, when I say I still have them to this day, I will do nothing with them. I won't wear them. They're just sitting, you know, in my closet. And it's just, you know, my way of remembering Markel.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
For sure, man. Man, for me, man, it was always, it was always love with Markel, man. Whether he was joking around or, you know, freestyling or doing anything crazy. But, man, one thing that I can say Markel did for me was that even though he was a scholarship guy, he was one of those guys that understood that struggle that we were going through, me and CJ. And, you know, he would always tell us, like, bro, y'all keep going, like y'all doing good. Like, something good gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of times when I was ready to be like, man, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like, I'm going as hard as I can go. And it seems like nobody can see it. When in reality, you know, they were taking note, but it didn't feel like it at the time. But Markel was just one of those guys that, you know, helped keep my head like, hey, keep focused, stay down, grind it out.
Yeah.
Like, you doing what you're supposed to, just it's gonna happen. And he would say that often. And it was times like that just kind of kept me in it, like, okay, cool, somebody see it.
Yeah, that grind hard, stay humble, man.
Absolutely.
Grind hard, stay home.
Yeah. Man, how important is that too, just to have that guy that's maybe a little bit older than you, a little bit better than you, but that first person to kind of believe in you. Yeah, that first person to just kind of breathe that little bit of life into you.
It means everything because not everybody understands. Number one, since we had so much of a coaching change, you're not even building a relationship with coaches. So it's hard for them to like give you any type of motivation. They're coming in trying to establish themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so then, of course, people on the outside, they can't, you know, comprehend what's going on. So older players that do kind of give you a little wisdom, give you a little motivation, I mean, it means a lot. You know, from just trying to make it to workouts on time to actually trying to make an impact, you know, having veterans give you advice or even just talk to you, you know, like even just having a star on the team just talk to you, you know, that gives confidence, you know, that you're actually being seen.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes a long way.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
That's one thing I'll say. There were plenty, at least from my perspective, man, those guys in the wide receiver room, like Allen Muse, Julian, Carlos, Booby,
Jarbo.
like they would always say, like you can play, man. Just sometimes I would be, you know, a little anxious. Hey, just slow down and let the game come to you. And RJ, I mean, man, like they would.
You remember our freshman when we were first got there though, and we picked up Dwayne Frampton on the way to the facility. That was a cool moment.
Yeah,
because Fram doesn't really say a lot, especially if he don't know you.
No,
and he didn't know us from nowhere,
right?
Yeah.
You know, and so us giving him a ride, that was a really cool moment because you know we're trying to just figure out who people are.
Yeah,
you know, and I thought he was the best shifty guy I ever seen.
Bro, he's such good footwork.
I definitely stole a few of his moves and used them on the younger guys once I got older.
Phenomenal footwork. So just even that moment, I mean, he was just cool, you know, and so that helped a lot.
Yeah. Frank, man, he used to come over to the house because we both live in the village. I'd cook fish for him. Yeah, he's Muslim, so he didn't eat pork or anything. So I'd always cook fish, and we'd always have a good time. Man, he was always grinding. We'd do like P90X yoga. Had a back bedroom set up, like just empty room, do yoga in, and yeah, man, cool dude. Really, really hard worker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, I tell you what, we talked a little bit about Malzahn's year. Let's talk about Harson's year, because that's really, I think, really the coming out party for both of you guys.
It is.
Your first opportunities.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, this is Harson's year. Okay, so Harson year. Most impactful moment for that year was we go to Auburn, right?
Oh, boy.
Okay,
Gray jerseys.
So, man, I don't know. I like Harson. I really like Harson. Harson was a bit different.
Yeah.
But
he was significantly different than all the other coaches, I think.
I do not agree with, taking a 15-yard penalty.
Both halves.
Yes. But, I get the mindset. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is really my first game starting on defense.
You started that?
I started.
Dang.
I started against Auburn.
Sammy Coates.
Okay. So
there you go, dude.
Started this game, and I remember. So they would run a 3 wide receiver set, and we were working this bubble screen like all week. So, and I think that was the biggest part of my game was that, it was a lot of guys that had more physical ability than me. So I had to use my mental. So recognize formation, recognize the splits, saw the bubble screen immediately. I can't remember who it was that was trying to block me, but literally crushed him. And all you hear is Coach Pitt on the sideline, "Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!" So I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I'm hyped. So then they come right back.
Yeah.
Sammy Coates, he's in the league. He literally runs like a 4-2.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, 4-2 flat. He gets in the slot. 3 wide receiver set. I'm supposed to have safety help on the inside. All I have to do is protect the outside.
Yeah.
Sammy Coates runs a bend post.
Oh. Yeah.
I have no idea where my safety is. He's coming, but he's not there. And Sammy Coates.
Do you remember, was it Humes or was it Sterling?
I think it was Humes. But I think what had happened was Humes was drifting because they did like a decoy.
Yeah.
And so Sammy Coates got up on my ass so quick. So quick. The only thing that saved me was that the quarterback overthrew the receiver. And you know how every DB does.
Yeah. Yeah. Lights out, baby.
Yeah. But man, that was a great game. That was probably my most physical game because, Auburn,
we had a chip. Everybody had a chip on their shoulder. We wanted to beat Malzahn there for sure. Like everybody has that game.
But they were good.
Well, they freaking went to the national championship that year.
They were. I think.
And I don't think we realized they were that good when we played them
because we played them at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, and really, like I know from the offensive perspective, man, we had a ton of yards, just couldn't score.
Yep.
Couldn't score, and that was really. Same here, man. That was kind of a coming out party for me. Man, first opportunity to start, had a good game, put up some good stats, and meant the world to me when Malzahn came over and found me after the game, specifically sought me out and said, "Mal, I was wrong about you. You're a great tight end."
Wow.
And
that's big.
Yeah, that was big, man. And man, shout out to Coach Malzahn though. Like whenever I had my son a year ago, he texted me, said congratulations.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, man. So. I think he kind of gets a bad rap
from this guy.
Hey, man. It's all good.
Dude, it's tough, too, because these coaches are dealing with at least 120 different players. Not everybody's going to have a good interaction, a good perspective on it. That's life, is what it is. Like, for instance, I really like Coach Harson. I think you guys like Coach Harson.
I like Harson.
Not everybody likes Coach Harson. Right? Like, sir.
If you don't like Harson, you can go see me. That's all.
I think everybody has their different moments,
It's all about, I tell people a lot, if, for instance, Coach Freeze was a great coach, I didn't play a lot that year. Yes. I didn't start. Like, I wasn't a dude. Don't get me wrong. Never had a bad interaction with him, but didn't have many interactions with him.
Facts.
So,
No, it's no.
And,
Hard feelings.
But like with Coach Roberts, Coach Roberts offered me a scholarship. So that meant the world to me.
The connection.
Yeah, so it's all different. Everybody's got a different perspective, but there's that Harson year really, I think, out of all the ones, sticks out in my mind the most. But also, I was coming back from the liver issues and was fighting back from that. And, really just had to come back from scratch.
There's another moment. Of course, you remember it because it includes you, but it was definitely, where were we? Was it Western Kentucky?
I'm giving the pregame speech, dude. Oh, boy, dude.
The speech.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, my God.
Boy, Kitty was turned up.
Oh,
it was
man,
just,
bro.
So it was a great speech, but it was the ad-libs from Coach Pitt.
It was my hype man, dude. Pitt was my hype man.
Fuck yeah, Kenny.
Yeah. So I would give to everybody, here's the uncensored version of what happened, okay? So if you got little kids, plug your ears. It's West Kentucky, man. So man, I'm a Christian, became a Christian whenever I was a freshman in college. And, man, one thing that really stuck out to me was Coach Freeze's year, he would always use Bible stories as like to motivate us. And so I'm like, okay, my junior year, I'm becoming a real vocal leader on the team. I'm giving like some of these pregame speeches. So I give one at Louisiana Monroe where I talk about Gideon and the Midianites. We go out and slaughter Monroe. So then I'm like, all right, man, West Kentucky, we got to win this for the conference. I'm going to give another one about David and Goliath. So, man, I'm like studying this passage of scripture the night before. I'm getting ready for it, trying to memorize it and stuff. And I'm giving the speech. And at Monroe, nobody said a word. So that's the environment I'm expecting. And that's not what I got. That's not what I got at all. So I'm going in, and you can watch this on YouTube. And I'm talking about when David goes and, man, he had fought lions. He had fought wolves. He fought bears. God had put him through all this stuff to bring him to the point where he's ready to fight Goliath. He goes down and Pitt in the back. Yeah. And then I'm like,
remember, this is a 2-part story because you come back at halftime.
That was Monroe where I came back at halftime.
Oh, that was Monroe?
West Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I did at West Kentucky. But anyway, so I get to the part where David goes and he gets the 5 stones. And some people don't know this in the story, but Goliath actually has 4 brothers. He got 5 stones, 1 for Goliath, 1 for each of the 4 brothers, right? So that's David saying, like, I only need 1 shot. Like, I'm that good. That's how much confidence he had in his abilities in God being with him. So I get to that part, and then you just hear in the back, fuck yeah! And everybody dies laughing. And it's that moment when you're sitting there and you're just like, I can't laugh. I'm literally the dude giving the speech, but I want to laugh so bad. Man. And I just lock eyes with Ryan Carruthers because he's the only one that's not laughing because he never has emotions. And so I just lock eyes with Carruthers and finish the speech.
Man, it was so funny because nothing against Pitt, but hell, I didn't know he was spiritual. So when you're telling the story and he's like, fuck yeah, I'm like, you know what story you telling?
Dude, I love Coach Pitt though, man. He was so fun. He is the old school, like straight out of the 80s strength conditioning coach, like get the weight up. I don't care what it looks like. If you want to talk about a dude that's going to build mentally tough, strong dudes, it's Coach Pitt.
Oh, we were strong as that was
so strong. But so like everybody's just bowled over in the front, man. Like
which is interesting because, physically I felt like I manhandled people that year.
Oh, bro, you were a freak. Like, I did not like going against you, and I had seriously 40 pounds on you. Mm-hmm. But you and Don Jones just had this explosiveness. Like, you take 2 steps and bam, like you're ready to just kill somebody.
It was. I remember. I'm gonna let Book go in a minute. It was a drill. I don't think you did the drill because y'all had 2 different groups of receivers.
Yeah.
But we were working blocking techniques. And so it was like Carlos McCants, JD, and like RJ. So, and they'll go against the Wolves. So it'd be like me, Don Jones, and Kyle. And what we would do is we would sit off about 5 to 7 yards, and then the receiver would have to come up and block us. And man, me and Don were bringing the heat. Carlos, any of them, they'll say they were doing it, but no, they weren't doing it. We were bringing the heat. We were whooping their ass.
No, Girley, bro, seriously, like, nobody liked to go against you, dude. Like, you had the pop down.
Now, picture having to do this all the way through my life. going up against CJ.
Yeah.
So when
That's
I get
rough,
to college,
dude.
I'm like, I'm gonna let y'all have it now. I'm retired from that.
But look, so I'm gonna tell a secret. So I was always good at linebacker. So that's what made me good, with hitting. I didn't want to do anything with coverage. Yeah. So in practice, when we would have one-on-ones, you had one-on-ones with DBs and receivers, and you had inside drill.
Right.
I never did one-on-ones. Maybe like once out of 100 times.
I snitched up. I got sick of it.
Man.
Hey, Coach CJ ain't gonna never come down here and get no one-on-ones.
F one-on-ones. I'm never on an island in a game.
Yep.
I'm running down there to get some fits with Q Lee now. So,
to be real though, CJ, like I was very similar. I would rather do one-on-ones hitting folks than run routes any day of the week. Like I don't have a ton of stats receiving wise, but like, bro, I wanted to just knock people out.
Yeah.
Like that was my favorite thing in the world. I remember the blocks way more than I remember the receptions. Yeah. Like our
Book, he loved one-on-ones.
Of course.
Book was good at them though, bro. Like
was.
if you're the little quick guy, yeah, you love to do that. For the big folks out there, it's a little tougher. But hey, man, crowning achievement in one-on-ones, routed up DeMario Davis very last play.
That's big, Derek.
Before he left ASU, yeah. I don't know if he remembers that, but I definitely do.
Yeah, man, that's...
Yeah, so let's see, man. What else from Coach Harson's year? I got another one for you guys. I can't remember if I've told this one or not, but this is going to be an expletive episode. Y'all be the first on that one. So I have to put the little E on this one. But anyway, so we had some guys pop for drug test one week. Several guys. And that's another big thing too that people probably don't understand is there's a lot of marijuana smoked on the average college football team. Would you all agree with that?
I agree.
And that's that's anywhere. I don't care where you look because that's any college.
Yeah.
Right. And college football players are just college students. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of guys popping for drug tests, and Coach Harson comes in, and Coach Harson just like had this look. He had these super blue eyes. Okay, like piercing blue eyes.
Very distinct look.
Very distinct look. I mean, like always had a little bit of like just an angry face on him at all times. Like just always on edge, dude. Like I wouldn't want to run into Coach Harson in a bar and get in a fight with him, right? And so Coach Harson walks in. He's got that look on his face like he's definitely pissed. And he comes in and he just goes, "Guys, we don't do drugs in season." And that's like the joke for the rest of that year, Like whenever I taught you this about Carlos, whenever we had the fried chicken from Memphis. Yeah, I remember. And then we're like, no more fried chicken because we lose Memphis. Like, guys, we don't eat fried chicken in season. That was a funny one to me.
So I'm trying to think. Who had the bricks?
Brick by brick was Brick Squad was Harson.
Okay, so that was interesting because I feel like every coach had their own little slogan, right?
Absolutely. Feel the freeze, Gus Bus, brick by brick. What was Anderson's? Y'all even remember?
I don't know. But I know with Harson, we had to do the bricks right.
Yeah.
And so this is on Harson's way out. So we have the statue. You remember we had the statue of everybody's bricks. And I can't remember who said it, but somebody was like, "Man, tear that shit down." I said that was the lamest shit that we've ever done. But it was funny because so like if you go to other stadiums, they have a monument where they walk out, they touch it, whatever.
Yeah.
But we had the brick.
Yep.
It was never shown because when we run out on game day, we have the big helmet. So, at a point, it was kind of useless.
Yeah.
And so, man, that was funny. That was a funny year. But yeah. I really liked Harson.
Yeah, I did too. That was, but man, that was probably, I think, the funniest year, though. Because really funny guys, too. Yeah. Just some clowns, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, with Harson, it was like they were serious. Yep. With dry humor.
Yeah.
A bunch of dry humor. But, it was a good year. I think I was happy. It was interesting because, for majority of the coaches, it was kind of like a homegoing for them, because Freeze, he leaves, he goes home.
It was every year was a home. It was
Ole Miss.
Yep.
Malzahn, technically Auburn, his home. Harsin, Boise. So it was never like you could just truly be mad,
Yeah.
because you kind of understood just of where they were going, But I think from all those different coaches changes, we kind of just banded together to where it was like, okay, we understand somebody's in front of us, but we just care about, the guys that are here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it did. It made the locker room very cohesive because it's just like, well, we're all we got.
Yeah.
It's like we don't really care who comes in front office. We're what we got.
Yeah.
And I think that was really probably the biggest part of the success was, we like the horse races, man, I'm from Hot Springs with Oaklawn. It's like it didn't matter who the jockey was, the horse was solid.
Yeah.
And to go 5 of 6 years from 2011 to 2016, win a conference championship. In the 1 year we didn't, solid team, man. We were just, we were just beat up and thin.
Yeah,
when I'm basically the backup offensive lineman while I'm starting at tight end my senior year, that's a rough.
At that point.
That's rough, dude. When I'm just about walking out with 2 jerseys in case I need to change to go play tackle.
I'll tell you this though, Kenny. From my perspective, I never really, especially early on, I never really got attached to a coach or coaching staff. So when folks came and left, and I would see, like, some people were a little distraught, especially the ones that were recruited by that coach.
Yeah.
Oh, man, dude. Rocky Hayes cried when Malzahn left.
That was tough. And I was literally over there like, it's just like they do us. Next man up. Like, who coming next? Like, that was very interesting to see from a walk-on's perspective, and to be able to understand that.
Because I will say this though about a coaching change: like if you didn't start or play the year before, for you it's like, well, it's a fresh start.
Yep.
It's like nobody has a job right now; everybody's trying to earn it.
Facts, and I knew that when, of course we tried out for Freeze, and then he leaves and Malzahn comes in, and there's like 20 walk-ons in the visitor locker room. And people are feeling pretty good. We just won a championship.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up one morning, and we go to our 6 a.m. workout because, the walk-ons, we got an early time. So we go to our 6 a.m. and coach, who's our strength coach at the time?
That was so under Freeze it was JT and RC, but then Russell.
Coach
Russell was legit, dude.
Coach Russell walks in our locker room and says, "Hey, I need y'all to get on y'all gear, get cleated up, because y'all about to have a tryout, basically to stay on the team in the next 15 minutes. So make sure you out there stretched and ready to go." And walks out, and everybody's looking around at each other like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, we got to try out again? Like, and so it was instantly like it was just a different mindset, because as soon as you feel like you're comfortable, it's like snatch that carpet off under your feet, and now you got to go back to a place that, you was at a year ago.
You don't have any certainty at all.
And, man.
That must be similar to like what foster kids feel.
Facts.
We were like foster players,
Facts. Yeah. Because I'll tell you this, that was the most nervous that I was. High profile coach coming in. You think you're good, but obviously they don't feel that way. So we come in and we do it again. And at the end of it, he said, "Y'all come in tomorrow, the list will be posted, or I'll come in here and tell y'all, And he comes in and it goes from like 20 guys to like 6.
Yeah, so that is one thing with Coach Freeze, man. He has such a good heart. Like, they didn't want to turn away anybody. Like, there were honestly some guys that shouldn't have been there. And I remember like being pretty upset. Like, I think Kellogg was one of the guys that got cut.
Yeah.
There was a few guys that got cut. Yeah, and it was just kind of like, man, this is messed up. Like, why are they doing it? And it was just like, well, this is a business. It's like, that's another dude to take care of. And that was definitely one of the first signs. It's like, okay, this is now college football as a business.
Yeah. It definitely showed me, like you said, that it's a business and that you never safe. Like I never felt safe, and even when I got the scholarship, I felt safe for a brief moment. But like CJ said, when they got
did they pull yours that year?
No. But
that's crazy.
The crazy thing is, me and CJ, we seem to do everything in the same timeline except for travel. But when they took his, like I instantly went back into I gotta get back into grind mode for real, because if they take mine, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And man, I remember when he told me that I really couldn't believe it. And I instantly called my position coach. It was like, hey, you need to tell me something, because and at the time that was Coach Pascal. Man, shout out to Coach Pascal. That's my dog. I don't care what nobody say.
Him and Coach Bell are over at University of Massachusetts now.
I love.
I talked to Coach Bell on Instagram.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he found out about it. I got to have him on sometime, dude. What a character Walt Bell was. Let's go to 2014, Coach Anderson, because man, dude. First off, just even how we met those guys. You know, with everything coming off Markel, like immediately just a significantly different tone. That we're meeting these guys with in our introduction meeting. We're finding out, you know, we already knew about Markel, but it's like we're finding out the logistics of the funeral and all that. And Walt Bell's first meeting, dude. I know this is the expletive version, but I can't say what all he said. Long story short, man, Coach Bell, you gotta filter some stuff out with Coach Bell. So. But the message was good. It was you need to tell somebody that you love them. And that was really, I learned a lot of profound lessons from Coach Bell. You just had to learn to have a little bit of a filter from what he was saying. But one of my favorite things about Coach Bell, and I mentioned this even in the intro, was we were having a really crappy day in spring ball. He calls us all over. He's like, guys, if you want to get better at kissing girls, you kiss girls. If you want to get better at flying kites, you fly kites. You guys suck at football, so you need to play football.
Oh, wow. Yep.
But the premise is, if you want to get better at something, you got to do that thing. And that's really tempting, you know, especially in the business world, is you want to go read about it and you want to go study it. And it's like, dude, sometimes you just got to do it. You just got to start. I mean, that's how I was with this, dude. It didn't start out perfect, but you just got to do it. And you'll get better. And you do. The more you do something, the more reps you get, the more hours you put in, you will inevitably get better at it.
Man, Coach Bell, man, I knew that he was more of a player's coach when he told us, like, I don't care from Joe Blow walk on in my room to, you know, JD. Like, if you need anything, like, I'm here for you. Like, I don't care what you do outside of these walls. Yeah. Any of that.
And that was real too.
He said, hey, you can always pick up the phone and call me. And so that was probably the first time that I felt that way about a non-position coach, like, that really, you know, cares about, you know, got my back, and I felt it, like, the direct connection between it. So
yeah, because you got really close to him your senior year, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say.
Did it start in the junior year?
Yeah, man.
He did like you. He took a special liking to you, man.
Man, I'll tell you this, Kenny, man. With my dad being a coach, I grew up understanding the mindset of, you know, how to make coaches like you. It's, for me, it's always been yes sir, no sir. If you tell me something, I don't talk back. I receive it and I move on to the next play. And you know, so I was
slightly different than like Jarbo, huh?
Yeah, and I was that's slightly different from I'm trying to coach you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna respond.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, coach, and I move on to the next play. I gotta have that short-term memory, and that's just how I was raised. So anytime you got a player like that who can listen and not just go off, you become a coach's favorite. And I'm a guy that when they say let's get it done, I'm gonna do everything in my power to get it done. I'm gonna go 110.
Yeah.
So.
No, dude, that's both you guys are like that. And to me, whenever I'm looking at somebody, like, man, I really didn't care how talented you were. Like, we played with some extremely talented guys. I liked the guys who were the workers. 'Cause that's what I was, man. I was not the most talented guy, but I mean, dude, when it came to putting in extra time, working out extra, like I'm gonna be there. That was me, and I love seeing guys like you that come in and do the same thing. And you gotta have those, man.
You know, you definitely gotta have those. I think that's what kind of defines the team. When you have walk-ons, you know, beating scholarship guys, that pushes the scholarship guys, you know, to up their game, you know, and it kind of pushes, you know, everybody. And so, you know, I think that kind of was just different defining moments just for our team of everybody pushing each other. I think when we started having like the player workouts or the player held practices, they kind of got a little out of hand here and there. But for the most part, you know, we always had just good leadership, and we were pretty accountable because, like I said, the coaches were so interchangeable that we kind of, you know, were just accountable, you know, for ourselves.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely were.
And then winning definitely helped it because you get a taste of it and you want to go back.
Yep.
And, you know, for that period of us being the top dogs, you know, it was so interesting because not only were we the top dogs in the Sun Belt, but, you know, we started to have a chip on our shoulders in the state because we were, you know, sending a message to the Hogs.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know,
like especially Malzahn's year when the Hogs sucked.
Yeah.
And they lost to ULM and we beat ULM.
Yeah.
You know, dude, I think that Freeze year and that Malzahn year, we could have handled Arkansas.
And so having that chip on our shoulders, it got to a point we didn't even care about coaches. We just wanted to send a message. And then I think it was Harsin. Was Harsin the one that came and started talking about like the G5?
Yep.
And when he started,
because they had so much success at Boise.
Yeah.
You know, Boise really set the template. And Harsin was there when they did it. When they won that Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma, it's like, okay, look, man, you don't got to be Power 5. Like you can be Group of 5, and you can really shake things up. And especially today with 12 teams getting playoffs, like Malzahn's going to make some moves at UCF.
So when Harsin started to bring that G5 type mentality, that started to change our culture as well to where we're like, okay, you know, we can actually take this even further.
Yeah.
You know, and so that really helped as well.
Yeah, definitely did. So, you know, Coach Anderson's year, man, what's kind of crazy is that's a year that even though, like, I was a team captain on that team, I don't remember as much as I do in 2013. But, you know, one of the things, and we talked about this on the Grieve and Allen show, was, man, that Shadeed punishment. I think anybody that went through that will be scarred for the rest of their life.
Which one?
Bro, the 5 a.m., what do you mean
where
which
it was
one?
Freezing cold.
With Adam Whalen.
Oh,
The one where Alan Wright punched him in the face afterwards. What do you mean which one?
Yeah.
That
I
was
mean,
terrible.
I don't know. I'm one of them guys where I remember the instances where
And my fingers were frozen.
Bro, so so that was one I haven't hit yet. Y'all remember that it was a winter workout in the spring, and it was like 6 degrees, and Shadeed has icicles hanging off his beard, dude.
Yep.
I actually went
it.
into anemic shock.
Chill out.
No, like
Dang.
so as we're going through this workout, and I'm one of them guys, I'm cold. I hate being cold. I'm out there. I got every article of clothing I own in that locker room on. And it's some guys out there just shorts and Under Armour, and I'm like, ain't no way. And my feet, I mean, not my toe, my feet is creeping up my feet, how numb I'm getting.
Yeah.
I can't feel any of my fingers. And after that slaughter that happened that morning, I go into the locker room and I just sit in my locker for what I felt like was 5 minutes, but in actuality, everyone else was gone. Like, I stayed in the shower to get warm. I just couldn't. And so I wound up having to go to urgent care, and they said, hey, man, your iron is like super low. What have you been doing?
Yeah.
And I guess that was something I forgot to mention to Ron Carroll, that I was anemic. But yeah, I had to take iron shots. And I still didn't tell him because I knew that would take me out of some practices, and I didn't want to lose my spot.
Yeah. No, and that's a huge pressure too in college football, is that playing through pain because you don't want to lose a spot. You know, man, I played through some injuries I probably shouldn't have played through. You know, I mean, CJ, you played with the freaking cast,
Man.
like the club, dude.
Yo,
had a
man,
day.
was that 15?
Me and you really got the
Utah State,
bond
that was Utah State.
under Anderson's year,
Yeah.
though, because we're both hurt at the same
We were
time.
both hurt.
I
So-
blow my MCL out. And
Yeah.
when did you break your arm?
So I broke my arm 14.
Yeah,
I
but
broke my
what?
arm.
Do you remember what game?
It was
Was it a game or practice?
Tennessee.
That's
We
right.
went to Tennessee. It was a tight end. He caught the ball.
You know, we actually, fun fact here, we played Butch Jones.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, we
I
did.
didn't think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Tennessee. Tight end caught the ball. I cut him, and he falls on top of me. And so I'm like having crazy pain just in my wrist all the way back. And that was just a terrible trip. We get whooped.
Yeah.
And then we took a bus all the way there.
Yeah, that was
So
rough.
it was rough. So I'm in hella pain, but I go get an MRI, and it turns out, my wrist is broken. But then the doctor says that, it can't get any worse. And so I think they pushed my surgery date out, and I actually play 2 more games with the Cast. So we go to Miami. I play with the Black Cast. And then probably the best game of my career was when we come back and we play Utah State at home. So it's an all red, Scarlet Night. I'm talking to Ron Carroll, and he was like, "Hey, I got something for you." And I was like, "What you got?" Ron was my guy. He was like, "I've never done this with any player in ASU history. I'm going to tape your cast with red tape." So I was like, "Oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go." So I got the red cleats, red jersey,
red game.
pants. We bust out the red helmets, I think.
Yeah, that was all red. All red
All
game.
red, and so I got the red cast, and I think I had a sack that game. Me and Money Hunter were on the play in overtime that broke up, and we win the game. I had a couple solo tackles. That was probably one of my best games of my career.
I'll tell you.
That was a big game, man. That was a big upset whenever we beat Utah State.
Yeah, man. Just jumping back to Tennessee, I'll never forget that game because
Yeah.
it was scorching.
Yeah.
It was so hot.
And at this point in my career, I'm a starter on every special teams except for like a field goal or something like that.
Yeah.
And at the time, Dijon Pascal was playing in front of me that particular game, and for whatever reason, Dijon had some busted plays, had some missed alignments, and
Yeah.
Coach Pascal, he walks down to me. He's like, "I know I got you on every special team, but you're about to have to take some of these offensive reps because he got to catch back up." And I look at these are like, "Hey, it's 100 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm on every special team. So every time I come to the sideline, punt ready,
Yeah.
punt return ready,
Yeah.
kickoff ready, and now I'm on one offense."
Yeah.
I was like, "Dijon, bro, come on, you got to save me because I can't do it." And I look at Coach, I was like, "I will do the offensive reps. Can my bago come in?" He was like, "Nah."
Yeah.
And I had to stick it out. But I did get my first catch against Tennessee, so that was a pretty special.
Boy, we had a lot of people get hurt that Tennessee game. Chris Humes and his bicep. You remember?
Yeah.
Did you
Yes.
see that?
I saw it.
Man, all right. So Chris Humes' bicep snaps off, and Chris Humes was jacked. I mean, he was a physical specimen. Okay, he's got huge biceps anyway. Plays safety, still playing at CFL, I believe.
Yeah, still playing.
Yeah, and so anyway, his bicep snaps off and goes into his elbow. It was sick. I mean, just nasty, dude. Bad injury. Yeah,
Man,
several
it was
guys
a
hurt that
terrible
game.
injury. That year, it was kind of interesting though because we had so many guys that were hurt, key guys that we had our own little
We had a squad, dude.
squad off to the side in practice. And the one thing about being injured, you don't really want to be injured after you go to the injury pit.
Yeah.
Because
No, they punish you for being injured.
Yes.
That's real, dude.
like you're not even resting your injury. You're over there working out, whether you're running up the hills, doing something with weights, like for an entire practice. And so the funny thing is, when you're in practice, you're like, "Oh, this is long," but then you kind of get going and the periods start, flying.
Yeah, because you're at least doing something.
When
you're getting punished, bro.
Man.
Hey, were we in the pit, the pit together with Pitt Harson's year?
Yep.
That's what I was thinking of. So bouncing back 2013, Coach Harson's year, me and CJ were in the pit with Pitt, okay? And we're like literally I've got a torn PCL. I mean, my thigh literally juts out over my shin. I mean, it still does it to this day. Pretty brutal thing to tear. Same thing, tore my MCL next year. And he's making me walk around with a 45-pound plate above my head over and over again around the field. And then he's like, hey, Raines, come take a break. And he starts the jugs machine up. And no exaggeration, I think I caught at least 1,000 footballs to the point that my gloves fell apart. Wow. That's how many footballs he made me catch. Wow. It was insane, man. No, Coach Pitt took he got off on that, dude. He loved punishing us for being hurt, man.
I may have went to the pit one time. And one time was all it took. Yeah. I said, you know what? Hey, Ron, you got to get me spatted up because I can't do it. I can't do it.
It was literally hell. Like I said, especially on, because, Tuesday, Wednesdays were our longest days. 20-something periods.
periods. And a period, so for those who don't know football, a period is 5 minutes. And so that's a big thing. Like there's this big clock. Normally a normal practice is 24 periods. So that's 2 hours. And as a player, you are staring down that clock. Okay. And sometimes you'd have guys like Malzahn who may not ever admit it, but I'd almost guarantee you they pause that clock, dude. Real deal, they pause that clock. That 2 hour practice may turn into 4 like that. Wow. So anyway, you're like, the bad part. You're 2 hours at least getting punished for being hurt.
I remember coaches talking about starting it back over in pre-practice.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Y'all ain't got y'all mind right, so we're gonna start over.
And this is not unique. All coaches do this stuff. We just got to experience it because we went through so many. Yeah, we got to see the secrets.
That wasn't nothing more degrading than getting that red jersey during the workouts in the spring. When you mess up, didn't touch a line, didn't hustle, didn't touch a cone.
You talking about orange eater? Orange eaters. The orange eaters, bro. Yeah.
Man, Book got one.
You were an orange eater?
Book was an orange eater.
Time.
Get out of my house. Get his butt out of here.
Hey, the crazy part was,
Book was an orange eater.
The crazy part was I figured I messed up and I came to the room. I don't know if CJ remember this, but I said, CJ, man, I think I'm going to have an orange jersey tomorrow because it was one rep.
That's all it took was one.
I said, it was one rep that I'm not sure if I touched the line, but we're going to see. And I come into the locker room that next morning and I see that orange jersey and I go pale. And I'm just like, no, because in my mind, I'm like, I can't mess up.
Yeah.
Because
especially because you walk on, right? Like you're trying to earn a scholarship.
It's like 10 times worse. And now I got to put that chip back on my shoulder. Like, you won't beat me on this rep because I'm getting out of this orange jersey today. I won't be in it tomorrow.
Well, it's interesting though. So I played defense, and I'm just sitting here thinking about. So the wide receivers, we always had like a little chippiness. But the group that I was probably the most cool with was the offensive lineman.
Love the offensive lineman.
I love the offensive lineman, from Cheese to Allen to Tyler, 2 times, like all of them. And it was so funny because like when we would do either 7-on-7, not 7-on-7, but like team, I would always either have to come in and blitz, and sometimes they'll catch me. But like I don't know if it was Tyler or Allen, they would never let me fall to the ground. Like they would always like hold me up, and so shout out to the offensive line.
Absolutely, man.
If I had to pick a group, man, I would say them linebackers. I respected them, and they were cool. I didn't have to come into contact with them often. But DBs, it was on and popping. Several, man, I would say 80 to 90% of the time we would get into it. I remember. Not Harsin. It was Blake's first year, and that was that year. Fudge was on defense, and I remember it was like one practice in particular. We were in. I guess we was in one segment, and we were going through the script, and every snap, a wide receiver in a corner or a DB got into a fight. We couldn't even like finish the script. And I remember Coach A stopped practice. He said, "If y'all keep this up, do it again. I promise you, we gonna up down the rest of practice, and then we gonna back up and start from special teams." In that next play we ran, and shout out to Coach Pascal, because Coach Pascal, he like nasty, grimy receivers, like go get in there, and we knew we couldn't go in there, so I remember Fudge was up, and Tyler Chosine, that's my guy right there. We have a run play, and on runs we block.
Yeah,
and we go hard.
Yeah,
and I remember Cheese coming up, and I think he grabbed Trocine's face mask on that next particular play, and Trocine just picked him up and just dumped him on the ground, and all hell broke loose. Oh my God. And it was like Coach Pascal was looking like, y'all better not let him get beat up. Y'all better get in there. And so we all just take off, and it's like mayhem. And Coach A just started blowing the whistle. He was like, y'all over there. Everybody just start moving your feet. And
we did a lot of up downs Anderson's year.
Hours.
A lot of up downs for days. Yeah, man, it was my favorite group definitely. I think it was offensive lineman. I had a special relationship because Derek Newton tried to prophesy that I was going to be an offensive lineman someday. And Coach Malzahn did. He tried to get me to switch to offensive tackle. Wouldn't do it. That made him a little mad. But I'm so glad I didn't, dude. But I always kind of felt like a sixth offensive lineman that got to run routes because I love blocking people. That was my favorite thing to do, was to just go knock people out. Because I also realized that, like, if I'm the dude carrying the ball, that means J.D. McKissick isn't carrying the ball, right? And we're just not – like, the most yards, the best game I have is at Auburn, and we didn't do too hot that game. So we do a whole lot better when I make a path for the J.D. McKissicks, for the Okus and those guys. So, yeah, lots of respect for the offensive linemen. So I want to get to now, though. Let's look at 2015, man.
2015, my last year. That year was hard for me because
who were the captains on 15? You remember?
Going into that year?
No, like who y'all picked at the end of it?
I think
Freddie
Blaze.
was one of them.
Freddie. Was it Chris Stone?
Stone.
Yeah.
Freddie.
Was Grizz one?
And
Grizz was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, those three.
Yeah.
Those three, I think.
Yeah.
So my last year, did we play?
What was it like coming back after we lost to Toledo, dude? What was y'all's mindset? Because, I mean, for me, it's just like, well, that sucks, but I get to go be an engineer now.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, Kenny, Toledo was my best game ever.
Yeah.
And it was so awkward
because you're happy. And
on the inside, guys, I was like, yes, sir, I'm coming out. It's it.
You did have a really big coming out.
My red shirt.
Not gonna lie, that's how I felt when we played Auburn.
Yeah, man.
I was like, I had a good game, but
my red shirt junior year was like my coming out year. For real.
Yeah.
I had a great game again. Fun fact: I never scored at home.
Yeah.
And anytime I scored, we lost. So
that's a bad
weird thing to go. Fun fact. But yeah, so go daddy.
Yeah.
We lose, and it's tough, man. It's tough. I actually had one of the worst weeks of practice I've ever had that week.
Oh man.
And even Coach Pascal, he was like, "Hey, like, what's going on with you, dude?" Like,
yeah.
And for whatever reason, man, everything just stuck for me. That game, I just happened to be in because our plays aren't player specific unless it is, but most times it's like
it's whoever the dude is in that spot, especially Anderson. It's just like whatever dude's in that spot, like where Malzahn is calling plays and specifically sending personnel in for that play. Mm-hmm. Anderson is just, I'm going to call the play and whoever's there's there.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened, man. I mean, I was always set up mentally to be like, you don't know when your moment is going to be, but you got to be ready.
Yeah.
And I think all of those previous years of me just focusing in and getting better and just waiting on my moment, got me ready for that. And Freddie hit me. Man, I had 5 receptions for like 100 and maybe 30 or 40 yards,
Dang,
and 3
bro.
touchdowns. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
I shocked myself actually. But then again, a lot of plays we have game plan for those, and I think I scored on a basic. An in route, which was God made it, got missed, and then I scored on a hitch on our quick game. I think it was an ace, and then on a field 9 route, and it's just go in. So coming off of that game, it was really tough because we lost. But man, one of the reporters said the craziest thing to me to say that I felt you could say. So after the game, she walks up, she's like, "Booker Mays, you had a great game. How does it feel to know that, had y'all won the game, you would have been the offensive MVP and the game MVP?"
Oh, dang.
And I looked like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, she was like, you had a great game, even though, y'all came up short. And I just had to process that because I'm looking around, I'm seeing guys like Kenny and Q Lee, guys that poured their heart into the game. And man, even when they asked me, because when you have a game, you go do the interviews and stuff, and they asked me like, how does it feel? And I couldn't process how happy I was because I felt for you guys, and it was a lot. But I got a lot of love. After that game, and at that point, I really felt like, okay, like it's up there and it's stuck there. And so going into that next season, I was really amped. I was really confident. At that point, I'm a senior. We keep the same coach. Yeah. So it's like
a lot of the same players too.
Yeah. The core, especially in our receiver room. Yeah. We had no seniors that year in the receiver room. Boyd. Yeah. We had one. Yeah. And so, man, I was ready. And I knew I would keep my special team stuff. And I was just ready just to get back at it. I was so excited to get back in for.
Any crazy shenanigans with Shadid that offseason? Any crazy punishments?
Yeah, not crazy punishments, but at this point,
I feel like he kind of just got that out of his system in 2014.
Yeah, I think he did.
Because y'all had the indoor, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I remember calling Grizz. It was freezing cold one day, and I was like, bro, what was 6 a.m. like today? He's like, oh, we were inside. I was like, dude, get out of here. Y'all going to be soft now.
Man, so for me, Toledo was actually my coming back party. Because I had I had the wrist surgery in the middle of the season and I was out. Yep. And so that game was interesting because, it's not football, college football is not one of those things where you can just sit out and pick right back up. No. But I think my preparation that week was good. I had really good bowl practices and, was able to get out there and contribute. I think I had a couple tackles. I had a big hit in that game actually. But I want to, before we go fully into 15, I got to tell this part about 14. Okay. Because it just sums up our journey. So before we come to A-State, there's a college in Pine Bluff. It's called University of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah, UAPB.
Shout out to the home team.
So, me and Book, we're thinking we're going to get a scholarship because it's in town. Like, this is home. Yeah. Long story short, we don't get a scholarship from them. They basically tell us that we're going to go to A-State and we're going to end up basically coming back. And so there is, if you know anything about me, I always have just a huge chip on my shoulder. Yeah. And I don't really care when certain moments come. So, you know how Coach said you pinpoint the opponent? So I knew we were opening up against UAPB. Yeah.
Oh man!
So this is when I had lost my scholarship. I got it back, and I was fighting so hard. I had to start that game. And the spring prior, I was like 4th string. So
it was crazy, dude. I remember seeing that. And I was like, "This is stupid. Y'all hadn't seen Girley play."
I busted my ass because I had to start for UAPB. Yeah. So we're coming out of the tunnel, and you know how you run on the field. And the opponent team is over there, so we're running out, and I'm just throwing up the F-bomb just the entire way. I knew I had got my scholarship back. I was starting, and then as soon as the game kicked off, I literally ran on defense and just
killing people.
And so there's a picture, and it was in the Pine Bluff newspaper of this guy just getting rocked. and me delivering the hit. I think it was on the front of the sports page.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, I had to tell this story.
Dude.
But so we're going into 2015. It's my senior year. Like I said, we're kind of used to the coaches. And it's different, to be honest with you, because like as much as people may think, okay, you got the same coach.
Yeah.
I guess we had gotten so used to like having something new.
Yeah, having the
and
change.
Now it's kind of a little bit almost repetitive, and I think this was the turning point, in my opinion, just the culture, because we were so used to like starting new, starting fresh, depending on one another, that, the coaches started to build relationships. And say what you want, I feel like it started to become more about family and not winning. And, in football, you got to pick your poison. I don't feel like you can have both.
Yeah.
You can have the family, but that winning mentality, is not necessarily there, because when family starts to play a picture, it's kind of like, I kind of favor this person. I have a better relationship, not the person who's the best, And I don't feel like it directly happened this season, but I think it was the start, and so, yeah.
There was definitely something that started to happen after 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I was coming from on the offensive side, man. That group that was on the offensive side of the ball last year, like, man, even being able to keep, Coach Tuck even being on the offensive side of the ball still. Like between Coach Tuck, Coach Cepolo. Coach Cepolo, my guy, man. That's my nephew. We got a running joke because he's me. Uncle Book during our days.
Book.
And that's my nephew. So shout out to Coach Cepolo, man. Like I said, Coach Pascal, Coach Tuck, Coach Bell. I mean, those guys, man, they really saw a lot in us, even when we kind of were sucking it up.
I mean, y'all had a loaded offense that year. Had all the offensive linemen coming back now are juniors pretty much. You've got loaded skill room. Oh, man, absolutely loaded.
It was so fun, man.
Yeah, and then Freddie's coming back as a senior. Yeah, extremely loaded offense that 2015 season.
It was
I taught Grizz how to block.
Yeah. Man, Coach Bell told us, he was like, we're about to have some fun. We're going to go break all the records we just broke.
Yeah. Because I didn't realize how good our offense was even in 14.
It was good.
We had a lot of stats. I think y'all ended up coming out better at 15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We broke everything that we just
I mean, y'all had a killer season 15. Ends up Sunbelt Conference Championship, and New Orleans will finally get away from GoDaddy.
Yeah, man.
How excited were y'all just to go anywhere other than Mobile?
It was
great.
Yeah.
But I think even before we got there, so did we play Missouri at the house?
We played Missouri at the house.
Oh my gosh, I remember that game, bro.
I was sick, boy.
Trez Houston with the snag.
Yeah,
we should have won that game.
Y'all really should have.
We should have won that game.
Was the one.
That was the big. You know how like when you in your career you want to have that big signature win,
right?
Which of course we can look back at Utah State, but Missouri at the house.
Yep.
We should have won that game. We should have won that game. That slipped through our fingers, and it was packed out. It was sold out.
It was packed,
and we competed from beginning to the end, and man, it just came down to the wire.
Yeah.
It's just one of them games that you wish you could go back and have a do-over because it was that close.
Yeah.
SEC, Missouri.
Just the fact of having Missouri come to Arkansas State was such a big deal. And we played them pretty well in 13 when we went there.
We should have won that one too.
When they go to an SEC championship against Auburn, legit team. I remember Coney Ely broke the face mask off my helmet, but I did pancake him the play before. Yeah, man. So crazy.
We started out 1-3. Well,
Y'all started out rough.
yeah, we started out 1-3, and we are, as being on a football team, you always hear that outside noise, but we know that they don't know that we good.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm telling you, going
And
there,
just the way that Arkansas State's schedule is typically structured.
Yeah.
If you start out 2-2,
that's great.
you're going to be good.
Yeah.
You're going to be good. Even if you start out 1-3, you can bounce back from that by the time you get in the conference.
I mean, because look, that year we played with USC.
Yep.
Yeah, that
We
was
went
rough.
to-
We played like, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was an experience. Man.
I bet
I
it
got some
was,
catches.
dude.
I was like,
In the Coliseum, right?
you backs. I hurdle like D1. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
man.
But we played USC, and then we came home and we played like Montana State.
Oh
You
man,
know, and we run the tables
Yep.
on somebody like
on
that.
them, and then Missouri comes to town, and
Yeah. Who was that fourth non-conference against? You remember? We could look it up. But
was it? I don't know.
2015.
2015.
I'll look it up, dude.
It had to be somebody not.
I think it was
Was it SEMO? I mean, Missouri State.
no. Was it Toledo? Not Toledo.
Toledo.
It was Toledo.
It was Toledo.
Cause we went to
Toledo.
Toledo.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yep.
And that was Freddie was out.
Yeah.
Tabry was in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And man, we just couldn't put it together.
I remember calling JD that week, man, and asking, I was like, bro, Freddie's out. Like, what's up? Like, how you guys, Missouri State was the one y'all beat the brakes off of. Yeah, and then y'all just ran the.
Yeah, man.
So that may be only the second time ever that ASU ran the tables in the Sun Belt, too.
Man, the most memorable conference game, App State. App State just
Oh
came into
man,
the
that was a
conference.
classic.
No, 2014 because we lost to
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Or did we play them?
We lost in 2014 to App State and Texas
It was
State.
cold as hell.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And that's what really, that was like when we lost to them, it's like they punched us in the gut.
Oh, that
because
was
it
that was
like,
such
that
a
was like the
bad
beginning
loss.
of
But
like, okay.
We marked them on the schedule for the next year.
man, they
and
was
so
mad
they had this
disrespectful.
one thing where after every celebration or whatever they did, something like that. So we go to App State. We got to win. We're on the road.
And boom.
Their place is like elevated. And I think Chris Stone, probably the most talented person I've ever played with.
He's legit.
He creates like a fumble. I think Money picks it up, or
He bear claws that joint one hand.
something along those lines.
Yeah.
It might have been the opposite. Something with Chris Stone and Money.
Yeah.
And Chris Stone just comes in.
Does their sign.
And man, that changes the entire game, and we just kick their ass the rest of the way.
Beat the brakes off of them.
From there we finished running the tables.
Fun fact, App State never did that gesture again after
They
that
never
game.
did it again.
Never.
Never did it again.
Man.
At least that year they did.
Yeah.
I want y'all to go on YouTube and look at that. Look, just watch. Y'all gonna see them do it. Y'all gonna see us take over and we start doing it.
Yeah.
They never do it again after that.
Wow, that's funny, dude.
So, yeah. And
It's
then-
crazy though, because we came into halftime losing that game. Coach Bell comes over to offense, come over here. We all get. He was like, he looks at us, he smiled. He was like, "Yeah, we finna bust them up right now. We got the adjustments." And I'm telling you, we came out in the second half and just punished those guys.
Yeah.
I tore
man.
my ACL that game, so that was.
Oh, you got hurt your senior year.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't-
tore my
Wow.
ACL, which is so crazy. We talk about playing with injuries, so I sit out the rest of the season until senior day.
Yeah.
And I try to play with a torn ACL.
I remember that now.
on
Yeah.
senior day, and
Man, that
that didn't last long.
No, that was tough
But
to
it
watch,
was-
dude.
it was cool, and we finish up and we go to the New Orleans Bowl. We didn't win, but
Yeah.
I think for me, and Book can speak about it, for himself, I didn't play because my ACL was torn, but just to get to that point, because that was the end of my career. It was very successful. It was different highs and lows, but for the most part, it was a lot of winning.
Yeah.
It was a lot of winning, and then it was just a lot of mental tools. And the reason I say that is because, like, each coach had their own mentality, but more specifically, each strength and conditioning coach had their own mentality. I took a little bit from Russell, took a little bit from Pitt, took a little bit from Shadeed, and those lessons, you know, that I learned, it definitely helped me for life after football.
Yeah.
And so, you know, thinking back just on the career God blessed me with, you know, it was a huge blessing. You know, I was able to kind of, what I would say, be an example of like not allowing your circumstances to dictate, you know, just your career. I wasn't satisfied with just being on the team. I wanted to play. And then I wasn't satisfied with just playing. I wanted to start. And then I wasn't satisfied with starting. You know, I wanted to be an impact.
Yep.
And so, you know, it was just a good representation of just showing, you know, others what's possible. You know,
Yeah.
So.
And man, CJ, you've really had a lot of success after football. I mean, both you guys have, but you know, man, you've written a book.
Yeah.
You inspired me.
Yeah.
You wrote The Black Accountant.
The Black Accountant.
Well, I will link that in this podcast so you can go buy it on Amazon. It's a great book. I seriously read the whole thing in an afternoon. Really good book.
It's a good book.
It's a good book, man. You need to do an audiobook. You need to
People
read.
have been telling me that.
Bro, do a freaking audiobook. I'll teach you how to do it. You need to do it.
Perfect.
Seriously, I will.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Man, for me, man, football was just a dream, man. I've been playing football since I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Since I could walk in. Getting to A-State, man. Shout out to Coach Gunn, man.
Yeah. Coach Gunn's awesome.
Because had Coach Gunn not came down there to see CJ and our quarterback, Chad Tyson, man, and I just happened to be in the room. I just happened to be there, Kenny.
Yeah.
First question he asked me was, what's your GPA? I said, I got a 3.8. He said, yeah, you can come. Yep, you sure can. You can walk over too. And,
Yeah.
just persevering through all that. And,
Yeah.
man, just having younger guys that were at our high school, like looking up to us, seeing that, oh my God, these dudes, they made it. Like,
Yeah.
and even when we didn't consider really making it, they saw it as they legit, like they're on the team. And seeing some of those guys,
You guys are definitely role models, man.
that was big for me.
Yeah.
Like, seeing even some of them now, like KB Enzo in the league, like one of the guys I communicated with a lot when, you know, just playing, and you know, Henry Murphy, who played at Virginia Tech, and Josh Adele, who was about to be at A-State, one of Coach Becker recruits, and then when he split, you know, when I decided to go to Arkansas, you know, just being one of the few, you know, folks in our era to, you know, just play at the next level and just show, you know, younger generations that, you know, you can be from Pine Bluff, from a tough place, from a tough background, and make it. That was big, man. That meant the world to me. And then just making those connections along the way, getting 2 degrees, was important. You know, education with my family, both my parents being in education, that was big. So being able to leverage football, knowing that, you know, there's a really slim chance of going to the next level from there, but setting up everything, you know, while I was in school and having enough awareness to understand that your chances are slim. So you got to get things in order so that, you know, football, you know, once football is over with, the carpet isn't taken from under your feet. So,
yeah, man, it's a big thing. All those life lessons that you get, that definitely sticks around a lot longer than football does. You know, like for me, one of the big ones is leadership lasts a lifetime. You know, 2013 year was kind of my coming out year as a leader, as an extrovert, as somebody willing to communicate, you know, get into public speaking, and how much that's helped me in my life. And, man, so many different lessons learned. And that's just a big thing to cover throughout all this is just not only the football player is something that will be forgotten, but what was the man that was made?
Yeah.
And is continuing to be made each and every day. And that's a great thing that football teaches you many life lessons.
Yeah. I mean, even now, like we still work out, you know, 5:30 in the mornings.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of the different things that, you know, we learn from football, just attacking the day.
Yeah.
Trying to maximize, get the most out of the day, you know. It's like that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, even with this, it's just like, man, it really motivated me just to it's made me look back at how disciplined I was.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, I need to be that again. like I need to be willing to grind for what I want and not let anything get in the way of that, so yeah, man, I really do appreciate you guys so much coming here, dude.
Absolutely, man.
This was a lot of fun, guys.
It was good. It was great.
Yeah. Great to reconnect. Is there anything else y'all want to hit on as we wrap it up?
Man, just go Red Wolves. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. It was a blast, man. I'm so appreciative for Arkansas State.
Yeah.
I take it all in stride, good, bad, ugly. Like you just said, it really developed us into the men that we are today. So
100%, man. That's a good note to end it on. So thank you all for joining us, and check us out next time. For exclusive access to The Vault, packed with behind-the-scenes highlights, video, and pictures, check out 5for5journey.com.